I'm going to share with you 5 tips to help you win a 5.0 level tournament. These are things that I wish I knew earlier, and if I did know them earlier, I would have became a 5.0 that much faster. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to drive our third shots way more than we drop them. The reason is, when you hit drops, only 2 things can happen. You can either hit it into the net or make the shot. You're never going to win points from hitting a good drop. However, when you drive it, more things can go in your favor. You can drive it at them, they volley it, and you get an easier 5th ball. You can drive it and it nicks the net and still goes over. You can drive it at them and it goes down the middle because they don't know whose ball it is if they don't have good chemistry. So for my third shot, I always want to drive the ball at the person who's running up. So the person who returned the ball. Then we really want to aim at the person's chest. The reason is it's hard to generate power here. However, a lot of people think if you drive out to their wings, it's best. It's not, because they can get so much more power. If you drive at their chest, it gives you an easy 5th ball. I want you to pay attention to the ball I hit after I drive it. It makes for a way easier drop. Woo! I've been driving every ball at Ridley's chest to get that easier shot. Watch what happens when I drive at his forehand. It's way harder to defend. That ball, I drove to his forehand wing, which was out here, and he's really able to get on top of it and hit down. It makes for a really hard 5th shot. I'd rather the 5th shot be easier, so drive to their chest. Your mentality in doubles should be get to the net. It shouldn't be try to win. People try to win by hitting crazy drives. You want to hit about 75% of your power so you know you're going to make it, and right at the person's chest. That's going to give you the best path to get to the net. The second tip we're going to cover is when we're back at the line, my teammate and I, and our opponents are at the net slamming balls at us, how do we turn that defense into offense? The secret is sky lobs, hitting balls as high as we can and as deep in the court as we can. The mistake that players make is when they're getting slammed, they're trying to hit resets, which is next to impossible. Ridley's going to hit an overhead at me to start the point, simulating that he's already on offense and I'm stuck on defense. Woo! The key to this is to hit the highest lob possible and as deep on the court as possible. The higher a lob is, typically the softer people hit it. So if we're playing a point and I get a ball right here, I'm going to be able to kill it. However, if it's all the way up here, it's really hard for me to accurately time that and hit a really big slam. As soon as we're finally able to get that lob high and deep, the next ball's not coming too hard, we want to drive that next ball, and then it's going to allow us to get to the kitchen. So as soon as they're not getting like endless power on the shot, that's when we want to take advantage of it and try to get to the net. I'm going to show you that now. The third thing we're going to cover is dinking patterns. We want to get super comfortable with long dink rallies. We want to have the mindset of they're going to miss eventually. We do not want to speed the ball up off of the bounce. To win a 5-0 tournament, we should be dinking, dinking, and more dinking, and then speed balls up out of the air when we get a pop-up from our dinks. We should not be trying to do a fancy shot and trick our opponents. We are going for the percentage game. Pay attention to the placement of each of my dinks. The thing that I'm doing that has allowed me to have a lot of success is the absolute second my opponent has the upper hand on me, like even the smallest edge, as soon as he's slightly ahead in the point, I'm changing where I'm hitting the ball. At the lower levels, you'll tend to stay endlessly in a dink rally, even if you're super behind. The second you're behind, get out of it and get back in it. The second thing we want to focus on, we want to be putting the majority of our dinks to the middle. Your whole goal should be to make your opponent, whether a forehand or a backhand here, it doesn't matter. You should be making your opponent hit this dink. Like I said, forehand or backhand, doesn't matter. This is the dink that you're going to get a pop-up out of that you're going to be able to slam. The typical pattern that we see is out wide to out wide. We want to change that. We want to hit a ball out wide and then a ball to the middle and then to the person in front of us. We want to keep our opponents guessing and not let them get in rhythm. When our opponents are in rhythm, they're less likely to miss, especially dinks. However, when we're putting a ball out here and then to their partner and then to their partner's middle foot and then all the way back out here, they don't know where the ball's going and they're not hitting a ball more than once. This is going to lead to way more errors than you can imagine. Players really struggle with hitting a good third shot drop when the ball that's coming to them has a lot of spin. It'll typically go into the net. And if they try to drive it, it will probably go into the net too or come really high. Slice should be your new best friend. This guy doesn't miss. Oh, we only slice balls with the backhand because typically everybody has a good forehand and the forehand slice is very hard to hit consistently. Everybody's backhand is usually not up to par with their forehand. So instead of hitting a weak return that your opponents can just tee off on with minimal spin, we want to slice it so it's a hard, deep shot. The slice is very easy to learn and it makes for a very hard ball for our opponents. The form that I emphasize on this shot is we really want to step and hit in one motion. We don't want to slice like this, and we don't want to slice like this. We want to almost run through and step into the shot. This helps keep the ball low and gives it a ton of cut. The fifth tip is a piece of advice for your mental that has changed my career forever. Compounding mistakes will be the death of you. In pickleball, every point is only worth 1 point. It's not like basketball where you can shoot a three-pointer and get right back in the game. That means that if you lose a super hard-fought point and you're really frustrated with yourself, and then you go back to the line and you're just still thinking about that point, and then you miss the return to serve, it's worth the exact same as losing the very long point. You need to allow and have your mind accept that each point is insignificant. So whether you lose or win it, reset and play the next point. If any of these tips have helped you, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'm trying to play all of the pro tournaments this year and really turn this into my career. By having a big social media presence, it allows me to approach brands and they help me out with sponsorship money. Help me live my dream. Thank you.